Welcoming the all-new Nissan X-TERRA. With its new looks, features and interiors, it has tons to offer. Yalla, let's learn all about it. Alright, so let's take the new X-TERRA for a ride. As soon as you turn on the car, it does have a welcoming graphic. It is push to start and the seats are electronically adjustable. So just fix my seat a wee bit. Alrighty, let's go. Coming to the drive, it is super smooth. It has a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, very different from the previous X-TERRA engine. I feel it would have had more power. It's very underpowered with the current engine, so if it had a bigger engine, definitely more power on it. Now, another thing is that the steering, for me, seems very heavy. I don't feel very connected to the car just because of the steering being so heavy. It's quite the hassle to be, steering it the way it does. Considering Nissan usually gives us super smooth steering, butter steering, if anything. I usually could do that with like just one finger, a roundabout with one finger, but here you really need to hold on to the steering wheel. Other than that, numbers on the car, it does have a 7-speed auto. It does about 165 horsepower, churns out 165 horsepower, 245 Newton meters of torque. This is what it sounds like. So you really need to push the car for it to gain up on that speed. That's what I feel. I would have been very happy had the engine been a wee bit better. And last but not least, smooth drive. You can tell it's a brand new car. It would be very smooth, decent on bumpy roads. So I think it would be great for off-roading too. But I'm not too happy just because of the fact that it's a 2.5 liter. I feel like it should have been better. All in all, I'm happy with the drive. City drive, great. Off-road, can commend. Haven't taken it off-road, so I am a little unsure as to how great this would perform off-road. So, talking about the interiors. Now, the first thing you notice as soon as you get in is that it is pretty basic, minimal to an extent, but our layout is quite basic. Looking at what the steering wheel has to offer, on the left we can control a bit of infotainment and the screen that I will be talking about in a bit. And on the right is your cruise control options. This does not have adaptive cruise control. Now, talking about that screen I mentioned, our instrument cluster here is analog and digital. The speed dials are analog, whereas the screen in the center is a 7-inch screen. Now, what does the screen show us? It does show us basic home screen, the compass, your speed, navigation, the music, infotainment, etc. So, pretty basic stuff. Now, hopping over to our center. The first thing you'd notice, if you've seen the X-Trail, is that these AC vents are very similar to that on the X-Trail. Underneath that sits this really beautiful screen. It is 9 inches, but why I call it beautiful is that the screen is embedded in an octagon kind of shaped finish. So I really like that. I think it looks very clean. The knobs as well are very neatly done. Right underneath that you do have the quick commands in case you'd like to do something really fast and not really look on options on the screen. So underneath the two screens, that is our climate control and the infotainment, sits our USB charging ports. So we got a Type-C and a Type-A. The 4-wheel drive controls are here too. Underneath that is the charging mat. Got our gear shifter, which looks pretty neat, nothing too fancy. Cup holders, got a couple of switches here that I'll explain. But what we do have are the tumble seats, and I'll show you how that works. Got hill descent and diff lock controls here too. This car has a handbrake and not a foot brake. And coming to our armrest with storage compartment, it is not all that spacious. It is pretty limited. It doesn't go too deep in its storage. It's honestly very limited according to me. It does have a glove box here that needs to be opened up yourself. No buttons per se. And yes, all in all, this is pretty minimal. You do not notice a sunroof, and I'm going to tell you why when we hop into the back seat. So here we are in the second row, and as you can see, it is pretty spacious. I have ample amount of leg room. We do have AC vents here in the center, but we do also have them in the roof, and they are 360 vents, so you can flip them all 360, and they do have the fan speed knob right beside it too. Now, what's the fun part of sitting in this row is this. It's 11 inches big screen which can be connected to an HDMI cable, so you can have the family entertained while they're here and also in the next row. So the seating of the car, as you can see, especially if you look at it from the side view as well, is that you notice that there is the theater seating, which is lower, high, and highest at the back in the third row there. Now, we do have cup holders in the front here as well as in the third row on either side of them. Now, the only challenge is that the third row isn't as spacious as the second row, so I think if you're not too tall, you would be comfortable there. If not, it would not be that comfortable. And also, since it does have the theater seating, the head space or the head room space in the last row is pretty limited. Other than that, I do like the second row. This makes me happy. This makes me happy. Got my cup holders. It's all good. And let's talk features. What does the new X-TERRA have to offer? Now, the first thing I would like to talk about are screens. So we do have a 7-inch screen here, a 9-inch screen here, 11-inch here for the family to be viewing, and a full screen, which is right here in the rear view mirror. When I flip the switch, it does give me a view of what's happening behind the car. This would be helpful in regards to probably blocked view with either people sitting in the back or luggage. Really dependable. So it gives you a view and it has that camera there. Talking about cameras, let's look at the cameras that the car does have. Now, we do have a 360 bird's eye view, reverse cameras, as well as cameras on the sides in the mirror. So you do have your side angle view as well. Hopping next, we do have this, which is quite convenient. So remember I mentioned that these switches do something. This would be for the second row to be tumbled over. So when I press one of these or click them, the second row seats fold in automatically. What else in terms of features? I wish it had a sunroof, but it doesn't because of this screen here. We do have this little compartment there where you can store in your sunglasses and, of course, all of the safety features, which are super important. So let's get to that. So talking about safety features, now this is equipped with the Nissan Intelligent Mobility System. So it has a bunch of safety features and it really does take care of you. Beginning with forward collision warning, lane departure assist, blind spot monitoring, we got the rear cross traffic alert, and another really helpful thing is that it has inbuilt maps. So that's helpful, and something that's even more helpful that I did not mention in the features before is that the Apple CarPlay can be worked on wirelessly with Bluetooth. But for Android, you would need the wire. So that's another feature that we had to keep in mind. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all about it in regards to safety features. It is well equipped with everything that you would need. Making its comeback after 2015, the X-TERRA was formerly known as a great off-roader, but now its focus is to make it a great on-road and off-road experience. Being produced in Thailand, it's globally known as the TERRA, but in our market we still call it the X-TERRA. Where does it fall within the hierarchy of Nissan? It falls beneath the Pathfinder, but above the X-Trail. Oh, and hey, fun fact, its competition being the Toyota Fortuner and the Mitsubishi Montero Sport, it does give its competition a pretty good run for its money. Alright, enough facts on the car, let's talk exteriors. We get 7 colors here in the UAE from what we could choose from. Alrighty, looking at the car, the first thing you're going to notice is this large grille, and this is Nissan's identity, its signature on all its cars, with its V-Motion grille. Looking at the headlamps, these are your daytime running lights. They have a nice square bracket shape with LEDs on its headlamps as well as its fog lamps. Hopping over to the side, we're looking at 18-inch alloy wheels. And now when you do look at the car, you would notice that it has a very high stance. It does stand 25 centimeters above the ground and with an approach angle at 32.2 degrees. Let's look at more at what's happening on the side. It does have a very prominent fender, has a chrome finish, also has chrome finish on its mirrors. Let's take a look around. And this is the rear. Now, it does look very different from what it used to, but I don't think we can compare the previous X-TERRA to this. Oh well, talking about the rear, it does have LED brake lights as well. It does have a bit of a wing, and it has a massive chrome line running just through the center here. Of course, it does have its badge name, does say X-TERRA. Like I mentioned, in our market it is called the X-TERRA, otherwise it would just say the Terra. Now, in regards to the boots, this needs to be opened up manually, and it does have pretty decent amount of boot space, but it does get much bigger if you do tumble down these seats. But it is honestly a challenge to tumble down this third row in comparison to the second row, and I'll show you why a little later. But if I need to put this down right now, I need to squeeze my hand right in between and pull up a rope, which is such a task right now. I can't feel it. Alrighty, I can do this. I should be able to do this. I did it. Okay, there you go. See what I mean? It is quite challenging to be pushing this third row, flip it over rather. So that is the only downside, I would say, in regards to what it has to offer here with boot space. So yep, that's about it with the exteriors. So does this live up to the name of the X-TERRA? I know I did say a bit of no earlier, but now I would say yes and no. Yes, because it does have everything the old X-TERRA had. It is a good off-roader, it has great approach angles, departure angles, it has electric diff lock to help you get out of the sticky situations. But what it doesn't have is the engine. It is massively under par, according to me, with that 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine. I feel Nissan should have probably done something better in regards to that. But hey, here's its selling point, the price. It starts at only 99,000 dirhams and goes all the way up to 134,000, which honestly isn't that bad. For a fully loaded one is 134, but 99,000 only. So given the situation, 2020, the pandemic, the market just overall and affordability, I feel this is pretty affordable, and I do think we will be seeing a lot of this around the UAE. So good family car, great city car. Off-roading, not so sure, but probably yes. So all in all, it is a pretty good car. Let us know what you think about the car. We would love to hear what you think about it too. Thank you so much for watching, and hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.